Welcome to Tuesday Tea, the space where we get real, get honest, and talk about the things that actually matter. I'm your host, Alicia Bakker-Mudrock, therapist, Pilates teacher, coach, and author of Leading Lady Energy.
And I'm Melissa Levine, educator, coach, and your co-host for the conversations that don't shy away from the messy, the meaningful, and everything in between.
Each week, we sit down with incredible humans, leaders, creatives, parents, dreamers, people who've lived, struggled, succeeded, and figured things out the hard way.
We share stories, ask real questions, and highlight the badass people out there doing the work.
So grab your tea
Or your other favorite beverage.
and let's dive in. Hey everyone, welcome back. Today I'm here with Amanda. She is a new friend that I have made here in Cape Coral. We've been able to do some fun pop-ups together in the community. So it's been just like awesome getting to know her and promote her business. And she's introduced me to some other fun people. But I'm really excited to have her on today just to share a little bit about her own journey, owning a business and kind of where she's at today. And she's lots of wisdom to share. But I'm going to first let her introduce herself a little bit better than I did to give you a little background, who's talking to you, and then we'll dive in. So welcome, Amanda.
So I'm Amanda. I'm a licensed esthetician in the state of Florida. I just opened up Celestia Lash Brow Bar with my best friend, Annie. So we opened up this July, almost a year of owning our first business together. So I've met some really great people and so grateful to have me on today.
Yay. Yes, I want to hear a little bit more about that. I know, so we had Annie on last month, so some of you might have listened
Yes.
to her episode. If not, go back and listen to it. But I'm curious just a little bit more about your own journey into this space, highs, lows, lessons, all the
Yes.
tea, everything in between.
So I feel like when starting a business, you know nothing and it's kind of like a learn by trial and error. So although I could do a set of lashes perfectly and, do anything that you need me to do, the business stuff coming down to it was definitely very difficult to get into and more of like a trial and error thing. We're still learning things now, but it's been really great so far. Honestly, I think at some point every woman should own their own business. It's very empowering working for yourself and also the connections you make with other business owners, like meeting you, Sky having her business. Like I just love the connection that you make with people who do that. So it's wonderful. And to work for yourself and be able to put yourself and even your family first is just a blessing, like such an amazing thing to be able to do as well.
100%. So how did you get to this place of being a whole ass business owner? I don't think that just happens overnight. So tell us a little bit
Yeah,
about
oh my gosh,
what got you
right?
there.
So I have worked in the restaurant industry as well as worked in aesthetics for the past 10 years.
Okay.
I think for me and for Annie as well, we say it takes us really getting fed up to like motivate us to move in the right direction. So
Mm-hmm.
after a long time of toxic work environments and just being unhappy, not feeling fulfilled, wondering what more there was, it was a big one. We were like, what if we had done this years ago? What if, where could we be right now? And also the freedom of having to say no to things and missing on a lot of family time or time with friends because you're tied to this schedule. So we were literally looking at each other one day and I was working in a studio in Cape Coral and she was working in a studio in Naples. And we are like, what are we doing? Why are we not doing our own thing together? Like that is our next step. And I was very frustrated at like the point where I was, and that motivated me really hard to change. Like when I say that our studio like kind of fell on us, it really did. It was so random. I found this space when Googling, like actually for houses, and it was like a commercial space,
Okay.
5 minutes from both of our houses. So we went and saw it, and it was not the right time. We're like, we're gonna have to let this go. It's not gonna work out. And I told the landlord, I said, I can't do this. But if there's anything in the future, please always keep me in mind. Like right now, it's just not the time. And she was like, are you sure? There's only one more opportunity. The guy upstairs, if he does not renew. I said, if it's meant to be, it will be. That's, I'm just going to trust the universe on that one.
Yeah.
And like 4 months later, she called and she said, hey, he didn't renew. Do you want to come into the space? And we were like, at that point, we were ready to make that move. So I was like, everything kind of aligned perfectly for both of us.
Okay.
She left her job, I left my job, and we just kind of went full force with it, which was amazing. It's been amazing so far.
That's awesome. So I love when like stuff like that happens because I think it really makes me think I'm like in the right exact space I was supposed to be at this moment.
Yes.
And going back to your what if we had done this sooner? What if we had done it earlier? Sure, it's a different storyline. Like maybe it would have worked out, but it sounds like this was the right part of the story to be at that exact time and not
Yes.
sooner necessarily.
I think that we had so much to learn to be able to get to the places that we are in now. And we always like think about things, me and her are very similar. So things that we've went through and how we got here. And I think we really needed to see and experience some of those things in the workplace, in personal lives and relationships to really be able to show up like we do for people. We always say that we want our space to be the space. A lot of women don't get a space where they can just completely relax, whether they have kids, partners, jobs, life. So we want people to be able to leave everything at the door and come
Right.
in and enjoy themselves.
Uh-huh.
But for that to be their space, we have to be mindful of our own energy and what we're bringing in. So I feel like all of the work that we put in and all the things we went through kind of helped us get to a space where now we could be like, let's
Our
say more of
best
energy
version.
healers than
Mhm.
yes, yes.
What do you think has helped you take care of yourself while you essentially like take care of other people in your work?
So I think the biggest thing was as you see me at your pop-ups, we do a lot of Pilates, we do a lot of yoga, and I feel like both of those things are very focused on breath work. I'm big on meditation. So I feel like you need to be able to go through moments where, especially like in these classes where you're under tension, where you're doing a little bit something a little bit
Mhm.
harder, and you need to be able to come back to yourself and breathe through it and understand that, well, I did actually write something down and it said, you have to believe so deeply in what is coming that even bad things that happen or detours, bumps in the road feel like it was meant to happen to align you to where you need to be. So I feel like
Mm.
breathing through the bad stuff, understanding maybe this wasn't what I wanted or expected, but this is getting me to where I need to be next.
Hmm. Yeah, and I always like to tell my clients too, and like reminder to myself that without loss, we don't know what like joy is. Without
Yes.
sadness, you don't know happiness. Without good, you don't know bad, or vice versa.
Yes.
Like we don't exist in a vacuum. And I think like the yin and the yang of it, and however spin you want to take, it's all necessary. Like we need all of it. You need the bump to feel the relief. You need the tension to feel the release, right? Like, and I think sometimes we forget that the tension, the sadness, the loss, the grief, the whatever is the the work that makes the
Yes.
other stuff feel so good and like feel like so impactful. And it's not fun, but it's also necessary, right? Like without it, we don't understand what we really have because you need that other side of the coin to give you that
Like
mirror image,
appreciation.
so to speak. Yeah.
Yes, it's been very rewarding seeing what you could turn like these bad situations and even bad things that have happened in your life into. Oh, there's been my mom always calls me like a certified crash out. Like I'm like a little thing used to happen before I worked on all this. And it would be the end of the world. Like I'd be like, "Oh my god, everything's falling
Everything's
apart."
done. Yeah.
Yes, I think it took a lot of me being like that and then coming out of the other end to realize each and every time that happened, "Oh, I'm gonna be okay." Like a nervous system regulation. Like you don't have to panic about everything all the time because
Right.
imagine everything that you've already done and been through and made your way out of. That was I feel like it's just a lot of like experience, unfortunately. Like just as
Yeah.
you go, you kind of learn.
Gotta do some life.
Yeah, seriously. The life is lifing most of the
Yeah.
time. But I feel like it just took a while of me understanding and my body understanding
Mhm.
as you go through these things, you still were safe at the end. And then
Hmm.
you keep going. It's like nervous system regulation is like insane once you actually learn, your
Really
body
is.
doesn't need to be in fight or flight all the time.
No. And like you said too, with like breath and just like there's so many tools we have, like our body was
Yes.
equipped with to help. We don't like therapy is great. Yoga is great.
Yes.
This is great. But like also at the end of the day, we possess all the skills to regulate if we understand how to sort of like tap into them and use them. And
Yes.
I think that's such a beautiful reminder that obviously don't like, I mean, I'm a therapist. Go to therapy if you need to, or take the meds if you need to, or whatever. But, like I think it's just a helpful reminder that sometimes I think we forget how capable we are of taking care of ourselves, of showing up for ourselves, of handling ourselves, our thoughts, our feelings. And these are those helpful little reminders that we actually can do it, and we don't always need to outsource or have a different person give us expert advice on ourselves because we are our own experts at the end of the day.
Yes. I think that is so true. And that's why I love also journaling too. I feel like looking deeper into yourself, asking yourself questions can also be so helpful. I do also think it's great to have an outside perspective, but
Mhm.
I mean, there's so many things we could do for ourselves in the same way. I completely agree with that.
What is one of those speed bumps or hard moments that you've overcome, that you think kind of shaped or got you to this place today?
So I entered the industry when I was very young. I was 17 when I entered the industry. I went to esthetician school and basically you could sign off and as long as you're 18 by the time you graduate, you could go in
Good.
at 17. Yes. And the beauty industry has developed into something amazing. We have so many great people now where I mean even I met someone in Orlando who's a waxer and she adds us all into group chats and as business owners we could all give each other advice and it's amazing. But it
Oh,
wasn't always like that. Um, when I entered the industry, I'd say there wasn't the tools that there are now to learn stuff. Google wasn't even as great as it is now. You were just kind of on your own. And a lot of times when you'd ask other estheticians, other cosmetologists for help, it was very much like I don't want to tell anybody my secrets because
hmm.
they don't, you know what I mean? That
Like
was
my
huge
secrets
back
over in
then.
Ohio are so like important. The girl in Florida can't know
Yes.
about them. Like what? Even if
Yes.
you're down the road from
Other,
each other, but you're like, girl, we serve different clients. Like, what
yes,
are you doing?
seriously.
Like,
But
I'm not a competition to you.
ever, no, but it wasn't always like that. Now I have so many great friends, like genuinely, even one of our friends down the road who's a waxer who has helped us so much in opening our business and collaborating. But when I first started, it was very catty, and I actually left the industry for 2 years because of it.
Mm,
I worked at my first place. I was very young, and it's just when you aren't guided and you feel very alone in those situations, you're kind of just like that was my fight or flight. I was like, I could either try to push through this and learn, or I could just leave. This is
run,
becoming too much for me.
run in the other direction.
It's run so far. So at that point, I went back into the restaurant industry. That's always been like my comfort zone. That's what I did to get me through school. That's what, something that it's
Yep,
very easy to go back to for me. With that being said, I met Annie at the first job that I picked up. So, like we said, things always do happen for a reason.
that's awesome.
But I met her and it did take, like I mentioned in the beginning, it takes you kind of getting mad, getting frustrated with your situation to make the move. It took me being so uncomfortable in my job and in my work life to make that decision and be like, I'm going back to aesthetics. Like I knew since I was a very young girl that I was meant to do what I'm doing. I posted a picture of me getting my first wax pot when I was 14. And I would do all my
Wow.
brothers and sisters' brows and trial and error everybody. Like they were my first clients.
It's like some really supportive family members. They're like,
Oh, yeah,
don't
we've
mess
been
my
through
face
it.
up, but we trust
Yeah,
you.
now they all bother me to come get services done, so full
I love
circle.
it.
But I knew this was what I was meant to be doing, so until you're in the place you should be, you genuinely cannot be happy.
Yeah.
So everybody has what's meant for them, and your body knows, like, you'll feel
Mm,
uncomfortable all the time. I would be unhappy going in. I had, like, crazy cortisol phase. Nothing was regulated. I just was holding so much stress in my body.
yeah.
And it took a long time to come out of that, but now whenever I go into work, I genuinely feel so calm and happy in the space we created. Whenever I'm with my clients, I feel great. I love talking to them. I love, making people feel beautiful. So it's a great place to be in now, understanding that I am where I wanted to be and this was the end goal. And sometimes it's actually surreal to look at where we are and I'm like it happens so quickly that it feels unreal sometimes.
Hmm.
Like I'm like, "Oh my god, this is if you
You
would
own
have
a
told
whole
me a
business.
year
It
ago I
functions.
was gonna
People
be
come.
here." Yes,
Yeah.
people love us. You would
Yeah.
have told me a year ago I'd be here, I would have laughed at you. I'd have been like, "Oh my god, whatever." But it's great to see how far 6 months, a year, even any amount of time can take you.
Mhm. Mhm. And I think something that struck me too in your story is that even though you knew this was what you were meant to be doing and this is the industry, you also knew that toxic work environments and things that were bringing you down weren't a reason to like tough it out in that moment either.
Yes.
So you didn't abandon the dream. You came back to it when it was like things had shifted and you had more tools and
Yes.
whatever else. But I think both can be really true, right? Like we can know something is for us and we can keep like pursuing that goal. And it doesn't mean we have to be abused or mistreated or settle for toxic bullshit. Like we also need to look out for ourselves and make the choices that match how to keep our own safety and peace while still pursuing those avenues and those spaces. And clearly whatever you were in before like wasn't it because it wasn't
Yes.
providing that in that way.
I think I needed the experience of toughening up a little bit also.
Yeah.
I was
I mean,
a
you were young.
very
You were like a
I was
baby.
very young
Your frontal
and
lobe hadn't
I
even developed. Like, you know
no,
what I mean? You're like,
oh,
oh,
I handle any constructive criticism. I was like crying all the time. I needed to That's one thing that I do say the restaurant industry definitely gave me a backbone.
toughens you up. Yep.
You deal with all sorts of people. You have to put I was also very socially anxious at that point in my life. And being a bartender, being a server, when you have to literally walk up to hundreds of people a day will
And
really
that's how
I
you
could
make
walk
your
up to
money. So you have to
Yes,
do it.
you have to do it. I was like, I could talk to anyone now. I
100.
could do so much more now. If somebody is giving me criticism or advice or anything, like it's just so much easier for me to deal with like people, for lack
Yeah.
of better words,
Yeah.
because I've dealt with so many different types of people and
Mm.
I can understand
Uh-huh.
everyone's personality a little bit more. I don't take things personal because I know some people are the way they are.
Yeah. That's a them problem.
I just learned how to deal with it now. I am grateful for that. I feel like I had a lot of learning to do that, you know, it all worked out for the best.
Yeah. And I imagine too, like learning how to take criticism or get less than wonderful feedback in a restaurant where
Yeah.
you're like, I didn't make the fish and chips. So I don't care if you like
Yes.
them. Or like
Yes.
you thought I forgot your water and I didn't come fast enough. Like, who cares? Is
Mhm.
easier because it's not like the thing that's so close to you and so personal versus
Yes.
criticism of like your work that you take pride in and like feel differently about can feel harder to like learn in that space where
Yes.
it's like in this arena, oh, whatever. Like
Whatever. I didn't
I
cook
mean, it
it.
doesn't always feel good, but, you know, it's, like, easier to be like, "This is not I don't really care if you liked the pizza."
Yes.
Like, it doesn't matter because I didn't make it and I didn't even put it on the menu, so
No.
here we go.
I would always say, I was like, "That's way above my pay grade."
Right.
Like,
Or
my
you
name's
think
not on the
there's
building
too
right
much
now.
sweet and sour in your thing, well, you don't know how to make a fucking margarita, so not my problem either, but, like,
Seriously.
I can make it better for you, no problem. Like, you know,
Like, let me
it's,
just
like, low stakes, you know?
Yes.
Yeah.
That also, I feel like one of the things me and Annie are big on is consultations with people. So we will lay everything out. I mean, I've told people no to services because they're not meant for their lifestyle
Yeah.
or it might not be good for their skin or,
Mhm.
so
Mhm.
I feel like we've done a lot of continuing education. I'm still doing continuing education even though I've been in this industry for so long.
There's
I'm
always
going
new
to a
stuff.
course in 2 weeks. Yes.
Yeah.
So I feel like now that we've done so much like further education, we have the tools to be able to help people better and understand what might work and what might not work for people.
Yeah.
So, I mean, just because we were licensed so long ago, it's always changing. There's
Ever
so much more to
evolving.
learn. Yes,
100%. I think in
which
most
I
fields,
love. Yeah.
medical, aesthetics, fitness, like we just know new things
Yes.
about stuff we didn't know and stuff's been studied differently and there's new things
Yes.
developed that we can use and for sure.
I try not to get
Um,
too comfortable.
right. No, and I mean,
Yes.
I do C's for mine too. Like I think like every profession should have a version of it because you should never know everything you know in any career,
Yeah.
really. Like, you should always be
Always
kind of
changing.
learning and grow, especially if it's,
Yeah.
like, gonna impact another person, like, how they look or how they think or feel, you know,
Yes.
you are if you're cutting me open or something,
I
like, I
want
wanna make
to
sure you know what you're doing, so,
maybe took
um,
some practice first.
so tell me, just totally as, like, a random side note, but what is, like, your most fun service to provide, or do you have any, like, funny, crazy stories or good, like, tips people should know that we wouldn't think about that, you know,
I'm trying
in
to
your
think.
field?
I just started waxing this year, and it actually has quickly become one of my favorite services. I
Interesting. Okay.
think, yeah, so we took a Brazilian course. I think we did it last May. So we took a Brazilian course. We learned a lot from like other estheticians, practicing on each other, everything. And I think that that is probably my favorite service now. You meet so many fun people. It's great to have a space where people feel comfortable. I mean, it's a very
Very
uncomfortable
intimate.
service in the first few times. Yes. So I think that's just great that we have a space where people feel comfortable to do that. It is very funny seeing like you know what you're showing up for, but it's still like a little nerve-wracking. So
Yeah, you're
it's
like, "Do I
great to
get
be able to
undressed now or when or where
I
do
know,
you go or how do
seriously.
I lay here?"
I People are so funny too. They're like, "Not to be TMI," and I'm like,
It's
the
fine.
funniest thing is the first time I'd had it done, and the part where they're like, "Oh, hold your cheeks." The girl was like, "I love your nails," and I was like, oh my God. Oh my God. I was like, I've got to get out of here. Like, please don't do this to me.
Dead.
But
I love it.
that's easily become one of my favorite services because there's so much to go into it and even so much to learn and it's always changing. I've always been a lashes girl. Like that's my comfort zone is like
Super different.
lashes. We are doing many. I'm putting on hair on your lashes. I'm taking it off everywhere else.
Right. Right.
But I love waxing now. It's very satisfying. People are so
Okay.
funny about it too.
Yeah. That's awesome. Any tips for people who maybe have never gotten a wax or going in for them, like pre, post, during, as like the waxer, things you would recommend?
Yes. I always say that although it's a service, like always find somebody you mesh with and especially like personality wise. And don't be afraid if you don't like the vibe of a place to try a few different people. And find your perfect person. I'd say always listen to your ST's aftercare where you're not just trying to sell you things. And actually don't shave between waxes. You're ruining your own progress. Really, I think it's a uncomfortable service to go through. Biggest thing is find somebody who meshes with your personality, makes you comfortable, and just roll with it.
What would be a last like piece of advice or something you'd share in terms of either someone trying to like start out on their own business or like coming up against these hard things? Like you've talked about a lot of
Yes.
different awesome stuff, but what would be maybe one last little piece of wisdom you'd give that person listening?
I would say be patient with yourself and just trust your own decisions, but also just don't be afraid to just go for it. Like you never know until you try, and it might be uncomfortable or scary to fail. But at the end of the day, if you give something your all and you really put your heart and everything you have into it, like there's not much opportunity for failure. Like that was never an option for us. So really just go straight into it, give it literally everything you have. And if you love it, it's going to work out for you no matter what. So
I
that
love it.
is
And where can people find you for their next wax or lash or other?
So
Do
we're
other
located
things
in
too, I
Fort
know.
Myers, so you can come check us out. We do lashes, brows, facials, waxing. I am adding permanent makeup to my books in 2 weeks. That's the course that I'm
Ooh.
going to be going to. So between me and Annie, you will be very well taken care of.
Whole head to toe services. We love it.
Literally, yes.
Amazing. Well, I'll make sure that your website and Instagram and all that are in the newsletter and the notes here. But thank you so much for popping in today and chatting.
It was so great.
It was awesome. And I will see you soon.
See you soon.
Thanks. Thanks for hanging out with us on this episode of Tuesday Tea. We hope something here landed, encouraged you, or made you feel a little less alone.
If you enjoyed today's conversation, make sure to follow, rate, and share the podcast. It helps more people find these stories.
And if you're watching on YouTube, don't forget to like, subscribe, and drop a comment. It really supports the show.
For more ways to connect with us or learn about what we do, check out the links below.
And until the next cup, keep the tea hot
And